In a small but bustling restaurant on the outskirts of New York, where the air was always filled with the aroma of fresh pasta and roasted garlic, Maria felt her heart freeze. She had just spilled a glass of red wine on the snow-white blouse of an important client, a Wall Street banker, who now glared at her with fury. "Are you blind?" "That was my best suit," he hissed, and the whole room fell silent, staring at her. Maria, with her dark wavy hair tied in a hasty ponytail, stood frozen, feeling tears burn her eyes. This was her third such incident in a week, and she knew. One more, and the boss would fire her without a second thought. At that moment, Inga burst out from the kitchen, the new waitress with golden curls cascading over her shoulders and eyes the color of the ocean. She didn't hesitate for a second. She grabbed a napkin, rushed over, and started dabbing at the stain, apologizing to the client with such a sincere smile that his anger melted like ice in hot soup. "Let me make it up with a dessert on the house," she said softly, and the banker, to everyone's surprise, laughed. "All right, girls, you've convinced me." Maria stood aside, stunned. Who is this girl who had just started her shift yesterday and was already saving her from disaster? After the shift, when the restaurant emptied and New York's streets lit up with lights, Maria found Inga in the back room, where she was changing into her worn denim jacket. "Thank you. You saved me today," Maria whispered, trying not to look into her eyes too long. Inga turned, and something warm, almost tender, flashed in her gaze. "No problem. I saw you struggling with those trays. Let me teach you a few tricks. I worked in a cafe in Chicago. It was even worse there." They started talking, and Maria learned that Inga had moved to New York from a small Midwestern town to escape her stifling family, where everyone expected her to marry and lead a boring life. "I want something real," Inga said, her voice laced with longing. From then on, their shifts intertwined like threads in a carpet. Maria, with her quiet, thoughtful nature, loved listening to Inga's stories of hitchhiking across the country, nights under the stars in national parks where she felt free. Inga admired Maria's resilience, the one who grew up in a large family in Brooklyn, where money was always tight, and she learned to survive by working from her teenage years. They began sharing breaks, sitting in the restaurant's backyard, eating leftover pasta and talking about dreams. Maria dreamed of becoming an artist, painting portraits of people whose faces told stories. Inga wanted to open her own bar where everyone felt at home. But their friendship quickly grew into something more, though neither dared to admit it. Maria noticed her heart racing when Inga accidentally brushed her hand while passing a plate. Inga caught herself staring at Maria's lips longer than necessary when she smiled. The atmosphere in the restaurant heated up. The boss was strict, customers capricious, and competition among the waitresses fierce. One colleague, the envious Laura, noticed their closeness and started spreading gossip. "They spend too much time together. Something's off," she whispered to others, and soon the boss called Maria into his office. "If this interferes with work, I won't tolerate it. Focus on customers, not personal stuff." The drama hit them on a rainy evening. The restaurant was packed, a company party where guests got drunk and demanded attention. Maria slipped on the wet floor, fell, shattering a stack of plates. The noise was deafening, and the boss stormed out of the kitchen in rage. "You're fired. Pack your things," he yelled. Maria, with a bruised knee and tears on her cheeks, rushed to the back room. Inga, hearing the shout, dropped everything and ran after her. "Don't go, please," she begged, bursting into the room. Maria sat on the floor, hugging her knees. "Why stay? Everything's falling apart. I'm a failure." Inga knelt beside her, cupping her face in her hands. Rain pounded on the roof like a drumbeat, heightening the tension. "You're not a failure. You're the strongest woman I know, and I can't lose you." Their eyes met, and in that moment, the world narrowed to their breathing. Inga leaned closer, her lips trembling. Maria froze but didn't pull away. The kiss was tender, like the first snow, full of desperation and hope. It lasted only a moment, but it held their entire story. The rescue in the hall, nighttime talks, hidden glances. When they parted, Inga whispered, "I love you." From the first day. Maria, her heart pounding, replied, "I do too. But what now?" They decided to fight together. Inga talked to the boss, convincing him to give Maria another chance. Her charm worked even on him. The gossip died down as the girls grew even closer, supporting each other. They started living together in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn, where Maria painted Inga's portraits and Inga cooked dinner after shifts. Their love was quiet but deep, like the ocean, full of storms from the outside world. Inga's family didn't accept her choice. Maria's friends doubted, but they held on, finding comfort in each other's arms. One quiet evening in the park, Inga took Maria's hand. "Remember that first day? You spilled the wine, and I thought, this girl will change my life." Maria smiled, "And you changed mine." Their kiss under the stars was a confirmation of love born from restaurant chaos, drama, and rescue. They knew storms lay ahead, but together they were invincible. After that incident, the restaurant became not just a job for them, but a battlefield for their love. The boss, softened by Inga, assigned them to the same shifts, but Laura didn't let up. She eavesdropped on their conversation in the back room and decided to get revenge. She swapped Maria's orders so she'd mess up again. One evening, when the restaurant buzzed with guests' laughter, Maria served a dish with nuts to an allergic customer, an error that could cost a life. The client started choking, and panic swept the room. Inga, noticing something wrong, grabbed the epinephrine from the first aid kit. She knew where it was from past experience, and saved the situation. "Who switched the order?" the boss roared. Laura paled, but Inga, with cold calm, pointed at her. "I saw her tampering with Maria's tablet." Laura was fired, and the restaurant breathed a sigh of relief. But the drama didn't end. Inga's family arrived in New York unexpectedly, her mother and sister, full of prejudices. "You can't live like this. It's not normal," her mother shouted, catching Inga and Maria at dinner. Inga stood firm. "This is my life. Maria is part of me." Tears, shouts, departure. It all tore at Inga's heart. Maria held her through the nights, whispering, "We'll get through this." They began attending a support group in the city, meeting others like them, which strengthened their bond. Maria, inspired by Inga, started selling her drawings at street fairs. One of them, a portrait of Inga with a mysterious smile, was bought by a gallerist, marking the start of her career. Inga saved for her bar, working overtime. Their love evolved, from shy touches to deep talks about the future. On a stormy day, when rain flooded the city, they sheltered in a small cafe. "Remember our first kiss?" Inga asked. Maria nodded, and they kissed again, forgetting the world. Years passed, and their dreams took shape. Maria's art gained recognition, with exhibitions showcasing portraits that captured raw emotions. Inga opened her cozy bar in Brooklyn, a haven for misfits and lovers alike, where live music filled the air and stories flowed like wine. They faced societal whispers and occasional heartaches, but each challenge only deepened their connection. One sunset on a beach trip, as waves crashed, Inga proposed with a simple ring. "Forever?" she asked. Maria's yes sealed their fate. Their story, of two women finding each other in life's chaos, overcoming drama, and building a future, became a beacon for others. In America, where freedom is a choice, they chose love, proving it could conquer all.